Support for News 6 has been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.
Hi! We're the 6th grade class of Croghan School, home of the Jets. Welcome to News 6.
Hi, I'm John Conley from Croghan Elementary School. Welcome to News 6. With today's first story, here's Melissa Reel.
For our first story today, News 6 visited WFRO-FM, where we learned about what goes on at a radio station. Here's Matt Hurt with the story.
Remember, it's free. Today, visiting the station, News 6 on AM 900. We'll take a look at the weather watch.
I'm Matt Hurt, here with Tom Wolf, the general manager of WFRO. What exactly is a general manager?
Well, basically, the general manager would be responsible for hiring the people in a station of this size, hiring most of your people, might also be responsible for training your sales staff and making a lot of the decisions on just exactly what would be on the programming that the station is going to do.
Tom, I like soft rock. What kind of music do you play?
Basic format for WFRO is adult contemporary music. We feature oldies on the weekend. On Saturday, we feature a light jazz program on Sunday.
Where exactly does the news come from?
A lot of stations in this size market basically use a news source such as Associated Press. But here at WFRO, we do an awful lot of local news coverage where we send out our own news team.
How do radio stations make their money?
Basically from selling advertising. In fact, that's the only way they make it, is from selling advertising.
This looks pretty technical, Tom. What exactly is this?
This is the automation system for WFRO-FM. It's not really as complicated as it looks once you learn how to work it, but from here down to here are the brains that control the cart machines, the CD players, the tape recorders, and the carousel racks that hold all of our commercials and music that we play on WFRO-FM.
About how many years has WFRO been on the air?
Well, there are two stations here, WFRO AM and FM. The FM station went on the air about 1945 and was one of the first 200 FM stations in the United States. WFRO AM went on the air about 3 years later.
Thanks, Tom, for showing us a lot of stuff about radio.
Well, I'm glad you could come, and I hope you all keep listening to WFRO Radio.
That's all from WFRO. Back to the studio.
Today's News 6 is produced by the 6th grade class of Croghan Elementary School. Fremont is located 30 miles directly east of Bowling Green, Ohio, in Sandusky County, and has a population of about 17,648. For our next story, we visited Bodylines Health Club, where we learned the importance of fitness. Here's Bricky Clayton with the story.
Thanks, Robbie. Hi, my name is Brooke Clayton, and I am here with Dan Balderrama, the owner of Bodylines. Dan, how did you get started working here at Bodylines?
Oh, about 6 years ago, I decided I wanted to do something for myself. My children were all in school, and so I got into the health profession.
What kind of equipment do you have here, Dan?
We have aerobic machines as far as Schwinn-Airdyne bicycles, Stairmasters, rowing machines, and then we have aerobic classes. That's all aerobic exercise. It works the cardiovascular system, helps a person to lose body fat.
Do you suggest programs for your customers?
Yes, when someone comes in, I have a form. I evaluate their physical condition, and I write up programs for them.
Dan, why is exercise so important?
The main thing is that it makes you feel better. You have a longer, healthier life.
How many members are you?
I have approximately 250.
Do your members compete in competition?
Yes, we've had several people that have gotten into competition, and we also have a police officer here in Fremont, Jeff Stoltz, who is a power lifter.
If you could give a message to the town of Fremont why exercise is so important, what will it be?
I'd say that exercise is really important because it helps us to feel better about who we are.
Thanks, Dan, for letting us come. You have a really great Zoom.
Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure.
Now back to the studio!
Have you ever wondered what you would do if you were stranded on a deserted island? Today's Kids View question asked the 6th graders at Croghan Elementary, if this did happen to you, what book would you like to have for entertainment?
Hello, my name is Jason Connolly, and today's Kids View question is, if you were stranded on a desert island, what book would you want with you?
If I was stranded on a desert island, I would take a joke book because it would entertain me.
Hi. If I were stranded on a desert island, I would get a book named How to Get Off a Desert Island.
Hi. If I was stranded on a desert island, I would want Island of the Blue Dolphins.
If I were stranded on a desert island, I would pick the book Robinson Crusoe because it is about a man who was stranded on an island.
The Hayes Memorial Museum was the United States' first presidential museum and library. With our last story today, here's Amanda Sanchez.
Thanks, Tony. Hi, my name is Amanda Sanchez, and I'm here with Tom Huffert, who is a tour guide at the Hayes Memorial Museum. What exactly do you do here?
Well, I'm a docent here at the Hayes Museum, and I give tours basically to groups, adult groups and children's groups, and try to explain the life of Rutherford Hayes and his time that we generally call the Gilded Age.
Tom, when was Mr. Hayes president?
He was our 19th president from 1877 to 1881.
Tom, when was the museum built?
The museum started being built in 1912 and opened up in 1916. It is the first presidential museum and library in the whole United States.
How many exhibits are in the museum, and what are your two most favorites?
There are about 2,000 artifacts on display. I guess my two favorites, though, are about his election, and the other thing I probably like the most is the Civil War weapons.
Tom, why are there so many weapons in this room?
Well, the story of any kind of weapons, why we show off weapons, is hopefully we won't do that again. These are just different ways of people killing each other when you think about it. It's terrible. For example, this cannon, the oldest piece we have here, this goes back to the 1500s. This is a Chinese cannon that was on the wall of the Forbidden City at Peking. And if you look carefully right here, you can see Chinese writing. These weapons are of different periods. Behind you there, we have a group of Civil War weapons that belong to the 23rd Regiment, the Hayes' unit in the Civil War. Behind me are some weapons used in the War of 1812. Over to my left are weapons from the Boxer Rebellion in the year 1900. Notice that long one is 9 feet long.
Do you have to be a historian to work here?
Actually, I wasn't very interested in history going through school, but as I traveled around the world, I began to appreciate how significant the United States is to the rest of the world.
Thanks, Tom, for the tour through the Presidential Hayes Center. We've learned a lot about President Hayes.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for coming and for bringing all your friends. And I hope you come back again sometime.
Back to the studio!
Thank you for joining us today. Tune in next time when Napoleon Elementary visits News 6. Have a great day. Local support for News 6 has been provided by the Northwest Ohio Educational Technology Foundation, Bowling Green State University, and the members of WBGU-TV.